lucky. You've got another great demo coming up, and you get to participate. Sheila is kind of like what a lot of you said, very diverse fields of art, a lot of different media. She's been doing art for many years. She does watercolor, acrylics, collage, Gyotaku? Gyotaku. You can tell I'm not Japanese.
Right.
And I'm not even going to tell you what that is because Sheila will, because I think she's going to demonstrate that tonight. But she's mostly impressionist, I can tell you from what I've seen of her artwork. Beautiful, vibrant colors, puts a smile on your face, very joyful art. She does a lot of nature, animals, flowers, things like that. So she's exhibited in many, many galleries, including the North Hills Art Center, Manos Gallery, Latrobe Art Center, Butler, Southern Alleghenies Museum of Art. She also teaches extensively. She is pretty much all over the place. She is also the owner of Blue U's Art Studio, and that is in Gibsonia. So that is her home base. So we are lucky to have her here tonight. So take it away, Sheila.
Thank you. So I'm really happy to be here. It's an honor to be with so many, wonderful artists, and just to be in this, new group of friends and life that I have. But I live locally in Hampton, and just acquainted with the Art Center for a couple of years, and at the North Hills Art Center. And I've always loved fish. I've just something I just love. I mean, not necessarily to eat it. I mean, I like to eat it, but I just think growing up, my dad has always been an avid fisherman and hunter, and we used to go to Canada as kids for vacation every summer up on the Muskoka Lakes, and there were so many fish in the water, and it was clear. We didn't have any goggles then. We just would swim with our eyes open, and I can just remember just being so fascinated by how many fish and the size of fish, and so needless to say, I got an aquarium and took care of that. But my aunt reminded me about Gyotaku, which means Gyo means fish, and Taku means impression. The Japanese fishermen used to, in the 1800s, they would take rice paper and sumi ink on the ship with them, and they would record their catches, kind of like how we would do with, a camera. Sumi ink is charcoal-based ink. It's non-toxic, so you paint this on the fish. You print your fish an impression with rice paper. It's not really made out of rice. It's made from two different types of trees that are, grown over in the Asian areas. It's thin. This is a nice paper. There are many different brands and thicknesses. This is a really nice, sturdy rice paper. It's a little more expensive, but I really like it. I use this for collage also.
What's the brand again?
It's Yasutomo.
Could you spell that, please?
It's Yasutomo in sketch paper. It comes in different sizes. I did order some that was like 400 pieces of some other kind, and it was so thin on my jelly mat when I tried to pull it up, and so I didn't use that. But this will stain. I was just reading about, is it permanent? And they say it is permanent when it's dried. So any of you ladies that have nice clothes on, probably not going to want to do that. This is why I wore black. But you can wash it off of your fish. and, you know, still eat your fish. You can put your fish back in the freezer and take them out and thaw him and use him again, which I have a good many fish in my freezer. So I now frequent the Asian market down on, I think it's on Liberty, the new one that opened. Oh my goodness. So, yeah, they see me coming. So anyways, I brought some fish. I brought some foliage. These little fish it was the same fish on all three of these. This was a little bluegill that I got when I was kayaking at Glade Run Lake. He was dead, floating on the top of the water, but he was still good. So I put him in my cooler, and I had ice in my cooler. I was so excited because I already had the paper, and I had the ink, but I didn't have a fish. And I printed probably 27 prints of him. So that little fish, I stuck him back in the freezer, I used him again, but then but anyways. So this is on rice paper. Because it is thin, I do glue it onto a watercolor paper to have it a little more stable. The collage up there, actually underneath that was a painting that I didn't like. So I painted over it, and that's kind of how I got that texture and the different colors. I did cut that rice paper and glued it on there. I did use sumi ink on the blackfish, and I believe on the orange fish I used acrylic. You can use acrylic paint, but it will leave brush marks. And so when you, and it works pretty well, but I was just being a purist trying to use just, you know, what they traditionally used. But in order to get rid of the lines, if you want to use acrylic, and acrylic, it worked well. I would just take a paper towel and just dab it a little bit just to get rid of the lines. Or sometimes the artists, the Gyotaku artists on YouTube, they'll use like a rolled up old t-shirt, something like that, to use on the sumi ink even, just because if you get too much ink on it, you especially kind of have to dry behind the gills. You'll get like a big black blob around maybe the gills, the nose, the eyes. So traditionally you don't want to paint the eye. You would want to use a Q-tip to get any off like in your eye. And then what they do is they paint that on afterwards. You can use, you know, black paint or, you know, sumi ink. I use sumi ink. The paper is very absorbent, like tissue paper. So you can't have too much ink on it, or it will just kind of be like a big blob. And you learn that as you go, just with practice. So on some of these, I don't know if you can see them, but we could pass them around. I did take some foliage from outside and brushed some sumi ink on it and pressed it on just like a piece of paper on top just to press it. You could use acrylic. You could just paint on afterwards. You can just leave it black and white, just traditional. A lot of times then they'll use these name chalk blocks. They're, you know, the Asian artists will use these. I did write on the sides what they were because it's what the name is. Like this one means as one wishes, and they're really small. You can get these in all different sizes, but it's kind of nice. Like, you know, Oriental artists will put their stamp on and then their name, and sometimes then they will write something kind of like a title. And this is a red, kind of like a red wax stamp for the stamps. It just adds kind of a nice little bit of color. You can also paint them with watercolor. You don't need to use sumi ink. And I did bring some liquid watercolor. I really like liquid watercolor. Do you use liquid watercolor? Once you use liquid watercolor, oh my gosh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's just, you don't even want to use
It's
anything
so
else.
pretty. And how-
And it's ready to go, and
Yeah.
it's so vibrant.
Yes.
So I did bring some, I went out in my yard and I did bring some different foliage. And I have some sage and parsley and some different things in the end. But anyways, so I'm just gonna show you, so my cousin has a pond on his property, and he caught me some fish. So I do have plastic fish. You can use plastic fish if you'd like. I found that I got cheap fish. I got cheap fish, and they work pretty well. But I got these that are more expensive, and they work well. But they don't work as well as the real fish. They just don't. And I'm kind of sorry I got them because I was in the closet today at North Hills rooting around. Yeah, I didn't know that. But anyways, I had them already before. But, so you're all welcome to, use any of those. So, my cousin didn't tell me what kind of fish these are. But it's a trout. They're beautiful.
That's pretty.
They are beautiful. So I had them in the freezer and I washed them before I came. But yeah, isn't it beautiful?
Yes, it is.
It's
Just that
really
way.
a beautiful, beautiful
Very
fish.
pretty. I know.
So I have 4 of these. So I'm not sure, like, if you all can see pretty well from there, or if you wanted to come up, you're welcome. So there are Gyotaku artists that cut a piece of styrofoam so that they can lay their fish in it. They'll trace around its shape, they'll carve it out a little bit, and they'll set it in there. So that you want to try to open up your fins, and you can even put a toothpick in the mouth or cotton ball. I brought cotton balls to just raise this up. And it looks nice whenever you have them open, because then they don't really look like they're, they look like they're still alive instead of,
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can just go way out however you take as much time as you want to do something like this. This sumi ink is thick. It's, I guess how you could imagine, it's like charcoal soot, really, is what it is.
You always start with black.
The sumi ink,
Yeah.
it only comes in black.
Oh. But do you put black down first?
If I was going to use acrylic paint, I would just, I wouldn't use the sumi ink. But you can put the black down first and dab it off so that you can see some of the the shape of the fins. And then you could put some watercolor or acrylic on with that. These make really nice gifts for like Father's Day. If you know someone that actually, likes to fish, my husband doesn't fish or hunt, so, he wouldn't really appreciate that. He'd like it if it was fried on a sandwich. So, when you do this, the first time, sometimes people even put like a cotton ball in the gill to try to, dry that up, or you can just sort of sop it up a little bit. And sometimes you get some fluid coming out of the nose. You'll get sometimes just like a big black blob there. So now I have soot here and on some of my cotton balls. So you're not going to want that whenever you're going to start to get your paper out. You won't even you'll have ink all over your paper. So what I do is I pick up the fish, or if it's not too bad, I would just replace some of the cotton balls.
So I noticed you're not wearing gloves.
I'm not wearing gloves.
So will that
I already
stain
have
you?
paint all over. It'll come off.
Okay.
But I did give you gloves if you didn't want to touch it or.
How fast does that ink dry?
Not real fast.
Is it good to let it settle a little bit before you do the print?
I
Let
think
it dry a
so.
little?
And it looks kind of like wet right there. I mean, you can just, you'll learn by doing it. You'll see like your first one is not going to be a good print. But it'll get better. So I think I'll just, instead of picking him up, I might just do this. So there is a smooth side and a rough side. You're going to want to print on the rough side. So you can think about where do you want your fish to be placed on your paper. You could print multiple times. Just pick it up, do another fish. You could have one just his tail coming in or his head coming in. So you're going to want to put it down. I think I have a lot of ink on here. You're not going to want to move it at all.
So do you just press lightly?
Yeah, and you can see that I've got a lot of ink on here. So that's not a very good print.
It's very interesting though.
But I wouldn't use this one. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't use it. I use it sometimes for collage. Like this could be interesting to put in something.
It almost has a fossil-like look to it.
Yes, and they're artists that use everything. They'll print octopus, huge fish. They have big rolls of like swordfish and things, and they'll be on docks when the fishermen come in, and they can do, you know, a lot of times they'll do that, especially even like tourists, if you take like your grandson on a chartered trip or something.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna use a lot, now that it already had some ink on there, I'm just gonna do a thinner layer now. And usually, you know, the first coat is not the best. So my son came home, and he said there was some roadkill. He wanted to know. Did he want me to him to bring it home?
Inspiration comes in all.
It does. It does.
He already tells his friends about it. Painting of fibs. These are very expensive. If you go, they said in Japan, pretty much on, you know, any fish market on the walls are Hawthorne. Wow.
Do you ever use a printing brayer or anything, or just always with your hands?
Not on these. I don't think it would work very well.
So where did you learn this technique?
I learned it by watching YouTube.
Yeah. She was pulling.
Oh, filling in for my husband tonight.
This one, I didn't get this real good up here on his nose. I probably could have taken it down over the top a little more. But sometimes you can just fill that in with a little bit of, and you can go over it a little bit, and you know, sometimes they'll add just a tiny, tiny, faint little bit of watercolor, just to kind of give it a little bit, like they might do the fins on him, like red,
Yeah.
you know, just a tiny bit. And then you can put your top lock stamp, you know, wherever. So we can try, I'll just try quickly here. I know this sage worked really well. I'm not sure how it'll work with the swimming. It worked well with my acrylic on my jelly mat. I was using naked paper.
You can really smell that.
Can you? Not the best. I had a lot of ink on it, but that's something too that you can, you know, learn. So I could probably even print this now that it's already been printed, just to see if it would be a little bit lighter. It's a little too light. But that was the sage. Oh, you can smell the sage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am at the sage,
Yeah.
not the fish.
I was thinking it was thing. Yeah. So that, and this one I'm not real happy with that one, but and there are some fish that are better than others. Like sharks wouldn't be as good because they don't have the scales. You know, just some fish are smoother and you just don't get as much. It's not as interesting. Yeah. So if anybody would like to try, we have 3 more fish in here. I have this fish. Are you you have your pretty dress on, do you wanna try it? No? You wanna try it, Kim? No.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
The watercolor, liquid watercolors you have,
Yeah.
can you substitute like Windsor Newton inks for that?
Need
Or
to substitute what?
Windsor Newton inks, like the colored inks, does that work as well?
Are they acrylic?
They're water-based.
I would think so.
I mean, I'm not quite
I mean,
sure
you
what,
could-
I'm not quite sure what the difference is.
We can try a watercolor on, you know.
I just know I have a whole box of Windsor Newton inks at the art center. They're all different colors.
I would think that that would work. If watercolors are working, I would think that it would work. Yeah.
Sheila, what's the goal? To get like a very nice outline of the fish and then add watercolor to it? Is that what you usually do? Because like those, you've got a lot of paint on them, so.
Yeah. Well, those were the first ones that I did, and I was just, you know, when you look at Gyotaku online, you know, some people just are like purists and just have black and white, but I love color, and
Yeah.
so I think it's just preference. Whatever you
But
like.
you can't see like a lot of black in that picture. You can see, I mean, you can see the outline, but you see blue and a lot of water.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and the speckle and stuff.
So
that's why I
these
was
really
wondering.
wouldn't be considered probably traditional Gyotaku because they're all painted up, you know.
Yeah, like there's no lot of black and like that.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to get my hair out.
When do you put the background in? Like these paintings here?
I did them after I painted them, I glued them on. I mean, after I actually did the Gyotaku, I glued them on before I put the watercolor on. I painted them after.
Yeah. Say, I don't have any paper towels or.
The rice paper, we
Yeah.
really going to another 10-year.
Oh,
Just to give it a little more body, sturdiness.
Put it there.
Pass that down to Kim, please.
What do you use to glue it down? Do you use a spray or?
I use like a acrylic medium or like
Oh, okay.
or like just watercolor glue.
Okay, so you brush the paper and then put this down onto it so
Yeah, brush the
that it.
paper.
Okay.
Yeah. Want a big fish or a little fish?
It doesn't matter, I just say, give me a fish.
Are you up for one?
Sure, I like my plate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh? Yes. Who's bringing it? Maybe with the
Yeah, I don't think that's good. We brought 3 containers, probably brought more.
This is all you. This is so all you.
Probably just have to use a lesser amount of your paint. Yeah, or like say I did it on this one and it was this much and you don't want that much. You could try to print it again on top. Maybe just go over it real lightly if it seemed like it was, you know, needing some in some places.
Fish dinner. Whoa, we're doing sushi art.
Wow.
very lifelike.
It is.
It is. Yes.
Hello. There was a bunch of cats out front, I didn't know.
Did you pass all your live ones, you guys are not?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay, I can use it.
You'll use the fake one?
Well, we can pass them around so that you can have a chance to,
So it's
It's
called,
not soy sauce.
here's some fish.
You're not gonna
You
get
dip,
it.
you dip them in there, right?
Yeah,
Where's
sure.
the wasabi?
You can't have it, and it's a way of doing fish prints on rice. That's good.
You'll print it and wash it and throw it back in.
How many do you want? I'll start. Sorry.
He's a nice fish.
So you just use your brush there and put it on a piece of paper.
This year,
And then start painting lightly. Yeah.
and I wanted to like the little fish.
Do the whole fish.
The
Yeah.
fish.
I did use
Okay.
the phone.
That'll get you
So
started.
I need to have the ink. If you get
Might be a
it,
little
that's full of t-shirts.
Right.
You can share it.
Careful. What's that?
Did you want to take
Paint fish. Yeah, so painting fish.
So it's printed with fish, not too heavy of a piece.
Oh, you do?
That's all we need.
Hold it
Sheila,
up, Kim.
oh, you did it, that's good.
Show Kelly.
Wow,
You want some
you could go
foliage?
home and scare your fish,
Yeah, nice.
but not the sides.
Want some
Not the
foliage?
sides, just basically the top.
It's the tail.
Kelly, what kind of fish would you have down in Costa Rica?
Wait, this I don't,
Oh, okay.
you might be able to look it up.
Yeah.
It might tell you,
Uh-huh.
but I know I've tried different ice papers. It is nice. Here's the foliage if you want to try. You can also,
Interesting.
if you want to try some.
Hey, taking
I don't know.
I was just gonna use the same brush. Here.
Well, you can put paper towel for spelling here.
I did just have a big fish.
I don't want to touch it, 'cause I want to get it.
You
He
should have
was
brought it.
reserved.
Should have brought them in. They don't worry about it.
He had it last
Purple
year.
version of a red one.
Okay, so I got my fish.
So, you get the fish cover, and just make sure
Thank
you
you for
don't have to
seeing,
pick
thank
them
you
up.
for seeing that.
Just having a hard time sticking.
Here, you wanna take this?
That's mine too.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah,
Right side down.
I always say the guy,
Not the carbon.
Yeah, the other guy.
Yeah, no, that's why, yeah, I follow him on Instagram. Yeah, the Penn State football the other day. So I didn't want to push the paper down on it.
Yeah.
I think I have it.
All
You're
right.
gonna quite on your paper.
Okay. Rough side.
Bye, Mary.
Bye.
The rough side. Rough side
The
down.
rough side.
Okay.
You're in the
Oh,
rough side.
yes, left side down, that's right.
Need paper, brother.
So we want the rough side, right?
Now, rough side down.
Well, it's a happy mistake.
I don't know.
Vote on it? Yeah, sorry, that was Linda's joke already.
I'm not finished.
You're not finished.
Finished.
Yeah.
I have think I could use paper. It's looking pretty covered.
Yeah.
Fish.
Looks like a finished product.
It looks
Oh,
like a
that's
faucet.
good.
It looks like a faucet.
That's good.
Finished.
Turned out good. That one's good too.
Yeah,
This is good as a good pictures.
it looks pretty finished.
Here, I'll write that on here, just like it on there.
That's some heavy ink and some.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get out of the picture.
No, you're fine.
Who needed paper?
I can give them half.
Let's try to. Oh, you can do it. Okay. He's
Good.
angry.
You do a double fish.
Yeah. He looked at
So, okay, this is the rough side.
You can just use
So
it.
what I'm gonna do is push the rough side
Just
down.
slide this over you.
And yeah, how do you do a run?
Because he's already kind of section. Yep, that's fine. Okay.
You just rub it with your hand.
Yeah, just gently. Just rub it on.
Get it upside down. Sleep her down.
Take the paper. I think your hands are fine.
Mine looks like one of those Prius machines.
Yes, right.
He's got that blind nose on him somehow. I don't know that.
Oh, that's part of it, okay. I'm like, what's that part? He has a little, it has a little thing that goes over it. Digging, I can see it under the light.
Oh my, that's good.
You know, today is National Tar Pickle
I
Time.
think it's like a
Just rub it
You'd
gently.
be like, all
I
right,
have
here.
It's like a annual.
That's pretty.
That's beautiful. I'll give you a piece of paper to help press that down. That would help. If you're gonna do foliage, I'll give you some paper that you can use to press it down so that you don't have to get your fingers in the way. It's easier just to press it with some.
Just call me Purple Finger.
Yeah.
She said it'll wash
Yeah.
off eventually.
Yeah, that's
Just
hard
don't
to
get
do.
it all over there.
Oh, I must have things
So
stuck
my
up there.
teacher's that too.
Foliage.
That looks
Works better
terrible.
with
Look
yours.
at it. It looks terrible.
I like the placement.
That's all.
They look, they're going to
Just the
school.
Parsley
placement.
beads up.
That's a beat up.
Yeah.
Just the
Ordinarily, you'd have to go to school
placement.
for
You know,
this.
that's why sometimes, like acrylic is good for certain
So
plants.
this is no good for me.
If it's not working, just pick something else.
Do it again, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Fish tomorrow.
I think
Look at the
these,
back of that.
I think
one.
these did
Yeah, blowing it up.
nicely.
What? Look at the back.
That's
when you-
oregano.
This?
It might beat up
Look
too
at the back
much.
side of it. It's I like
Paint
the
it,
back.
maybe paint it on a
Pretty
piece of
cool.
paper, like lay it down so that you
I'm
can,
finished.
um,
Finish.
Now I can say, you can back up and do another.
that's good.
Yeah.
Is there time?
Okay.
Need a bottle to hold it. Try this.
No, I don't want to do it.
You want to do a real live trout? Yeah, I kind of like my rubber.
It doesn't have as much space.
Okay, they mean there's some things.
I do have a trout song. It's my second most popular song. Right?
What do you call it?
No, my first most popular.
See, mine's bad on top.
Everything
It
is
goes in.
It's hard to-
Everything is fine.
Yeah.
It's, I say easier
The thing
to
of it is
do
that
it.
it's like.
Yeah, like a
This is the way
Yeah.
it is.
Like ship's fish.
That's good.
Oh,
I'm digging this.
I noticed that.
Digging
These
this
rubber
fish.
ones.
If it's worth that, say, try
Put it
to
on two
Stay.
prosperity.
You want to try some plants?
Now, what's the cotton?
Try some
Oh,
plants.
you can use the cotton balls to cross on the live fish, fins, gills, and
Oh,
They put it out really well.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. It picked a nice texture.
That's versus odd.
I don't think he's.
A real fish.
Here?
I'm trying to write all these
Change
stuff
in
down.
colors, not like one fish, two fish. Red fish, two fish.
Yeah.
Like it. Glad I got back here. in time.
It's a beautiful wish to you and your family.
How long does it take for the seaweed to dry completely?
It dries pretty fast. I'd probably say half an hour.
Okay.
I'll go get you some of these.
Which one are you looking for?
Happiness. Here's
Happiness?
good luck and happiness. This one, good luck and happiness.
Seaweed.
It's here. Okay.
Let's see, which
Okay, I got a couple fish here. Might add another one.
Where do you want to put it?
There. Turned out nice.
Good luck and happiness.
Yeah. I like it.
Okay.
Fish Then they had the
What's
fish,
the big long word?
they had the fish like dance too.
Yeah, that's right. Smack in the face.
Yes, it's still, Kelly's the only one on right now. But she hasn't responded, so I don't know if she's really there.
Oh, Marion left?
Yeah.
Gone
That's
fishing.
pretty, I like
She's
that.
going fishing. Oh,
You inspired her.
gosh.
She's playing go
We
fish.
felt bad, hope I didn't take her.
Oh. She, her dinner, she
So many,
got,
so many bad fish
Oh,
jokes.
my God.
she had to go pick up her dinner at Long John Silver.
Oh, those are pretty. Kim, those leaves are cool.
Mine don't have an eye.
She doesn't want to have any leaves.
She only sell it once.
Those are beautiful.
Staring at me.
Right there.
Does anybody want the chalk blocks? The name blocks?
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's be
Yeah, they
authentic.
have these little
I don't need
blocks,
the
these
ink.
little
Well, oh, the ink.
things to put a print, like a design print on it.
Do you need more paper down there? Anybody need more paper?
No, no.
So nice. Put a lot of it.
what they
There,
think.
ink on, huh? It was pretty good. Ah.
Yeah, those did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He needs it.
I'll get it.
That's a good idea.
He looks like one of those, yeah. Oh, careful. Keep it on the table.
But she, I'm sure things in a way. I'm breaking the place.
You're good. You just lay it there on top of.
Okay.
Of course, new, let's see, that was there
Do you want a
already.
new piece of paper?
I'm gonna take my fish and let it dry.
Okay. Where are you gonna take it?
Somewhere where you can dry.
Okay.
Maybe some air. Somewhere black where they won't
These
lose
aren't
it.
swear words.
Oh, here. Here's some paper you can put it over top.
Yeah.
Green stuff. You can see. Here's the back row stuff. Yeah.
No, they're not. I wrote on the side what they are.
Good luck and happiness.
Yeah.
Some meat,
Places,
right?
yeah.
And so what's its strength? You know, when you can do a little watercolor line, it's not gonna look like ink. I have a Fisher friend that's might enjoy this.
Yeah,
framed up.
yeah. It turned out really well.
Run down.
He wants just to leave these in the water.
Yeah.
and it's out.
Yeah.
Is it too easy? Work extension. That's worse. Oh, dear.
Very good. First try.
No, that one turned out better.
Good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Sheila's for fish over here.
What?
She'll love it.
Like they're not that keen on the, I didn't know it took just 6 weeks to take.
We're done with this fishy.
I have 2 daughters, but one's 16 years old now, and she likes bowling. She's a little better. And he came over to see, he didn't see it,
Right.
but she took those off. She found yes, she did.
Just thinking to go back in your freezer?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to be a routine and animal friends for a number of years. When I got up to Fort Catsy, we that's how I started.
I'm over.
My sister and my son, because we were going to and he was the one who wanted to get the Klotz.
See what
So
I'm
I'm
doing.
going to be and yes, well, he wasn't driving me.
I like to finish.
Exactly. I said, you know what, if I'm driving you, I'm
Because I've seen them
And they said, oh, well, he can't do things, he's not old enough. But he was so he said, yes. And then he went to college and school.
When you go to press your foliage on, you can just lay it on your rice paper, your leaf, and then you can press it with a paper so that you can get like a smoother press. Yeah.
And he's 30. Oh, I stayed years after.
Did you enjoy that? They turned out well. Very nice.
I get nice things. Once in a while. Once in a while I get nice things.
Do you want a rubber one, Donna? Want a rubber fish?
I'll try one.
Which one's yours?
She likes to fish.
This one has more scales on it, use that one. Now, this doesn't have many scales, I was disappointed. Look at that. I mean, there's no scales. Stupid.
I guess you meant to take designs.
Got a whole fish dinner there.
What do you say, chum? Sorry.
Laura, how do
On
you
a
like
scale of 1 to 10.
On the scale.
What about?
I'm sorry, I was having a problem with
Jealous?
Okay.
This is nice.
Yeah.
Yesterday, like,
That's gotta be different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay.
That's it.
That's a plastic.
Drew
Whenever
each
you're
little scale.
pressing your leaves down, you can just,
Yeah, it's a
you know,
plastic.
lay it on there like that.
The scales
And
of
then take another
justice.
piece of paper.
Oh,
Yeah, and just
okay.
press it.
It
Then you're
doesn't
not
look
getting your,
demonic
you
like
know,
plastic.
Oh, yeah.
you're getting a cleaner print.
And, in the demonstration with the dabbing of the bag, that looked like the devil coming out of mine or something.
They don't have a green brush there, huh?
Yeah.
Those both have a lot of ink, but they turned out really nice. But they turned out nice.
Impression
These
these
are
are.
fish.
yes, it
And
is.
then they're playing with them in addition.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of tricky.
Do you want the foliage back or rubber?
I just need mine this week. We had a great tank since our 2-foot long Rico passed away. Yeah, it's about a year ago.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. The other,
And that almost seems like they put out dish soap in that or something on it, you know, just because it's, you know, how it
And
kind
then one
of,
day.
it kind of cleans up on it. It's almost like it needs to have something in it on the rubber.
Can I have another piece of paper?
Yeah.
that way it gives you a little more time to rest with your feet.
Yeah.
Practice it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was gonna cut it, you know? I know, but.
Yeah, I had one that went bad after I used the one that just brings it into the parking lot.
Or, I don't know.
It's got that copper in it.
This is rice paper.
That's not fun either. I water all the house.
There was rice paper, yeah.
But I don't know what you do with this rice.
Yeah, I water the house plants. And then the cat always tries to drink it. I think it's like aerate for her. Yeah, they love that.
They gotta cut it. I
Yeah.
don't know, I'm scared.
Is that yours?
She thinks it's aerate.
Okay, I just realized,
This for just cut it.
yeah, George wanted to ask about this piece that she's working on and get input from folks on how she like work to finish it out. So it is pretty nice. She wasn't sure about like the cutting it
You know?
or
Yeah.
what would be like down below. What's that?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
like actually making it be like a long thin.
Oh, crap.
Is it
I
all
do
rice
too.
paper?
No, this is
Water on there.
it's all watercolor, except for this strip here. But then I don't know what to do with it now.
Yeah.
You can experiment and as a last ditch, you say,
I know, I'm gonna cut
You
it.
tried to add 3 more.
And then it's gonna be
Oh,
tough
so
to manage.
you weren't thinking like water?
I've thought of that.
Kind of works, but yeah.
But I don't know if it's gonna make it flat.
Yeah,
Too flat.
yeah. That's nice the way it is. Yeah.
Yes, well, I don't,
You think I would cut it and then just try to mat it?
I mean, you could just do a little bit of water, and not the whole thing, you know? Maybe cut it off then. Or, I mean, like I'm thinking like this, maybe some cattails or, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought of that too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool. I mean, like the tradition.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like bushes or something,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
water. I don't know. But then, but see, it's a 300 pound. I can always soak it and get rid of it again, you know, or cut it off.
She wanted to know what size we were.
Terrible when you start something and you don't know how to finish it.
You could do a dock and a boat and water.
I was gonna tell him he needs to clean that up
Water.
with tissue paper.
Cover up some of it, you know, like an old dingy fishing boat, like an old one.
Or this darker shirt.
Yeah.
Look at that, we've lost the
So
fish.
that it's not all water.
I know.
You know, put it into the dock and it fishes
Yeah.
out. That'd be nice.
There's something going on here.
That's Kelly.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Kelly, what's going
Yeah,
on?
to do
I
that.
don't know if they're watching
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit lighter, like reflection.
Yes.
Reflection.
Well, what did you think?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Have you done any kind of printing, like, you've never tried printing? Yes, okay. Yeah, it's really interesting when you like start.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Weird stuff.
yeah, it's, I was just fooling around with the trees, you know?
Yeah,
And I thought,
That's why he's asking if he's ever done any kind of printing before.
getting more involved with it, you know? Yeah. Well, thanks for the idea.
Uh-huh.
Is there a right side out for these, like which way to turn them?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd have to look at that paper and try to figure out,
Oh, okay.
and try to figure it out, and you can hardly see
Jim,
them.
are you gonna
I didn't
tell
realize
me
they
how
were that
exciting
small when I
You
bought
gotta clean
them.
that up
Probably
with
upside down, but he's
tissue
gonna
paper.
know.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I don't think it matters.
Instead of good luck, it means bad luck.
Yeah.
Upside down.
Just been around.
She hasn't been around this time. She's kind of new, yeah.
We're new around here.
That's
Linda,
bad.
hold up your fish.
That's
Let me
bad.
get the two of you with your fish.
Well, I mean, my fish turned out terrible, but I'm doing.
Oh, you're doing botanical prints. There you go.
There you go.
Very nice.
That's pretty.
My fish was too round, you know, like I couldn't get.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't really get the bend
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah.
Got it?
It can't be user.
Yeah,
Looks like a little
mine's
blooper
like
around
that that a real fish?
No,
Oh, it looks
hers
like a real
was.
fish.
This is
Oh,
fake.
yours turned
Hers
out
was yours.
nice. No, it is, it's good.
I like the organic.
See, I like that.
Very good, doing a nice job on
You
this.
need to frame that stuff.
So Donna, yours, because it's, your fish is very light,
Yeah.
that would probably, you'd be able to do watercolor on that. But the thing of it is, if anybody's gonna do any watercolor on it,
Yeah.
just make sure your brush is almost dry and try it that way
Yeah.
first, because it will seep and it'll go out of its body, you know. So just go really light.
What about acrylic?
Yeah, you could use
Same with
acrylic.
acrylic?
Well, with acrylic, you don't want to cover up all the black.
No.
So I would say just water it down. You know, you could water, thin it,
They do it
Yeah.
about too.
but just make sure you don't have your, you know, make your brush dry. It's nice to see the veins and the scales and everything through.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
makes it so interesting.
Yeah.
Used to go to Canada fishing all the time.
It's,
He had a smoker.
No, that was your
That's a
before.
pretty.
yes,
So good.
this is turquoise.
Does anybody else need to see?
Yeah. So you have to find a clean brush if you want to use
Yeah.
that. There's one right there that's not been used.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? Look at this little.
You haven't tried yet?
Now,
It has too much of a wax.
yeah, let's just throw it out then. Yeah, not
It's
sticking.
right up.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I think this might, it might stick to this.
Pauline, it kind of looks like the front of your shirt. You know, a little print.
Stuff really
It's
Yeah,
whatever
but
this
fishy.
was.
Fishy.
Turns over there and chowing the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got some spots on here.
Maybe this is cool.
Oh,
She just
yeah.
referred to it as
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Show me the water.
Thanks for coming, it was nice to meet
I can put
you.
this in.
Here, I'm gonna give everybody a printout so they can remember what it's called.
We're here till when?
Get a little deep in here.
Isn't that pretty color?
So was it 9:30? 8:30?
Thank you very much, this is very interesting.
Yes.
We're a mess.
We watched these out for you.
That's what we do.
Yeah, sure.
All right,
Thank you
bye,
very much.
everybody.
All right, oopsie.
Oh, great.
That's awesome. I came in late, but I really enjoyed it.
It was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you pulled up at the
Yeah.
perfect time. I saw your truck pull up to school.
Yeah, the first time I started painting, or doing one, I ended up, it was probably a couple hours later, I did 27 prints of my little, this little one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I found him in like, from like, it was floating a little submarine.
Yeah.
So it wasn't dead very long, because his belly wasn't floating. So I
Yeah.
put it on, like,
You say it was stuck on.
So I was so excited.
Yeah, it's like perfect.
I know, I'm so excited.
Very nice.
I don't have much else goes on here.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
She's gone.
All right, Mark.
Oh, wait.
Stop and say goodbye.
Thank you so much for coming tonight. I hope to come back for our next